Okay, so this is video 168, which covers basic trigonometry. So this is SOHCAHTOA. It comes up on the higher and the foundation tier. It's generally appropriate for Key Stage 4 and some Key Stage 3 work as well. Okay, the starting point for this is that you need to be comfortable identifying right angled triangles, and also remembering that SOHCAHTOA, basic trigonometry, only works with right angled triangles. Okay, now what you use SOHCAHTOA for is which is trigonometry, by the way. I think I'll probably just write that here, trigonometry. Now what you use this for is finding angles or sides. So you can use trigonometry to find an angle or a side in a right angled triangle. So for example, if I need to know what this angle is, and I know two sides, let's say I know this side is 10 centimeters and this side is, I don't know, 9 centimeters. That's a really bad drawing, but it doesn't matter. Then I can work that out using trigonometry. Okay. So one of the other basic points I want you to think about is remembering this. I mean, there are ways you can do it. There are some mnemonics you can use if you want. It's totally your call. From my personal experience, I think just remembering SOHCAHTOA is best. You know, as it is, I didn't really find it hard to remember as a student, but writing it as a formula triangle is something I would advise you to get in the habit of doing. That's quite useful because, you know, when we start using these later, if it's already as a formula triangle, I straight away can do what I need to do, you know, cover up the one I'm looking for, and it tells me what I need to do. Alright, so let's start with question 1. So question 1 is a question where they want me to work out a side. So they're asking me to work out this side here, and they've given me this length and one angle. So step 1 is always going to be to label the triangle. So we are going to label triangle. Now there are 3 letters that you're going to use. Okay, you're going to use, or 3 words if you prefer. You're going to use the word H, which is the hypotenuse. You're going to use the word O, which is the opposite side. Now this is opposite the angle they give you, opposite to angle given. And then you're going to use the word A, the letter A, sorry, which stands for adjacent, which you should know means next to. So that means next to the angle. Okay, so next to angle. Now hypotenuse is always the easiest one to do, because we should all know the hypotenuse is the longest side, and it's always opposite the right angle. So this is H. Opposite will be opposite the angle they've given. So they've given this angle here, so opposite that angle is this side here, which is the O, which leaves me with A there. So step 1, label triangle. Step 2, write SOHCAHTOA and cross out. So we're going to write SOHCAHTOA and we're going to cross out the 2 letters that I've been given, or that I'm interested in. We always cross out, by the way, the S, the C and the T, because the S, the C and the T represent the angle. So here's what I mean. So I'm writing it down, SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA, and TOA, and I'm going to cross out always the S, the C and the T. And then in this case, because I've got the O and I'm interested in the H, I'm going to cross out the O and I'm going to cross out the H. So I'm just going to cross out the O and cross out the H. That leaves me with one formula triangle there, because that's the one that's all crossed out. And really the last step is to is to cover up the thing I'm looking for, as you'll have learnt. So I'm just going to write step 3, use formula triangle, and calculator, really. Or I'll just write calculate. So to do that, you're going to cover up the one I'm looking for. I'm looking in this case for h. Covering up h tells me O divided by S. Now remember, S stands for sine 35. S stands for sine, C stands for cos, and T stands for tan. These are these 3 buttons here, sine, cos, and tan. Okay? So what I'm doing, covering up h, I'm doing O, 20, divided by S, sine 35. Here we go then, 20 divided by sine 35. Now you'll notice it opens a bracket when you do that, so you need to close that bracket. And that gives me an answer of 34.86893591. Doesn't tell me what to round it to, so when in doubt, 3 significant figures is always probably the safest. So you're going to round this to 3 significant figures, which basically means 3 digits, so 1, 2, 3. 6 is bigger than 5, it's going to round that up to 34.9 centimeters. Again, you can do a little sense check. I know that the answer to this question is got to be bigger than 20, because h is the hypotenuse, so it's got to be longer than 20. Right, we'll do one more where we've got to find an angle, and then hopefully... here's a good one. Right, question 9. So I'm looking at question 9 here. I'll just give you a second to read it. If you want to have a try, please feel free. Question says work out the size of angle BAD. So, step 1, identify which angle they want you to find. That's angle A. BAD is this angle here. That's what they want me to work out. The whole thing. Okay? And give your answer to 1 decimal place. Now, the first step of this, before we can do any of the labeling triangles, is first to find our triangle. So what I'm going to do is, if I show you this, suddenly a lot of you, hopefully, sitting there at home, will know what to do. If I draw myself a parallel line here, parallel to this, so I've now got a rectangle and a right angled triangle. And if I call this, I don't know, let's call it y. So that's the angle I want to find. If I know that this is 15, then this must also be 15. And if this whole thing is 6, and up to here is 4, this must be 2. So, what I'm now going to do is actually draw that again, just down here. So this is D, this is A. I'm going to call this M for middle. It's not actually the middle, because if it was the middle it would be 3 and 3, but anyway, because I know this is 4, it's 4 and 2. So I've got 2 meters and I've got 15 meters, and I've got to work out this angle here. So, step 1, I'll remind you, was label. Step 2, I'll remind you, was SOHCAHTOA and cross. Step 3 was, you know what, I'm already forgetting. Let's go back and remind myself. This is why writing notes is helpful. Formula triangle. And it'd be great if I could spell. This is why I don't teach English. Formula triangle plus calculator. So here we go. Step 1, I'm labeling the triangle. If this is the angle I'm interested in, this is the right angled triangle, right angle, so that's hypotenuse. This is opposite, this is adjacent. Now in this example, I'm finding an angle, okay? So we're going to press a slightly different button on our calculator, but we're still going to write SOH, CA, and TOA. And we're still going to cross out SC and T. In this question, we're also going to cross out the A's and the O's. So all the O's and all the A's. Which one is all completely crossed out? TOA. And because I'm finding the angle, you should remember what I said before. The letter that represents the angle is the S, the C, and the T. So in this case, it's TOA. So I'm covering up the T. And it tells me to do O divided by A. So 2 divided by 15. Oh, great. Yeah. Easy, sir. 2 divided by 15. Done. So the answer is 0.13. Really? Does that look like 0.13 degrees to you? Probably going to be a bit bigger than that. You need to remember, when you're finding an angle, you need to use the tan button or the cos or the sine button, but when finding an angle, you're going to use the tan to the -1 button, which is shift and tan. So shift and tan, O divided by A, 2 divided by 15. And that gives us 7.594643369, which again, it does tell you this time to round it to 1 decimal place. And that answer is 7.6 degrees. Now the only thing to remember is the question, remember, wasn't just wanting this angle, it wanted the whole thing. So what do you think you need to add, looking at this, to make the whole thing, if this whole thing is x, and I've just worked out the y bit is 7.6, what do I need to add onto it? If you're sitting there saying 90, that is correct. Add 90 degrees, and I've got 97.6, which is the answer to the question. 97.6. Okay?